The story unfolds in a serene woodland setting where young Zoe and her father Todd are out on a hunting expedition. As they traverse the forest, a deer comes into their line of sight. Using this opportunity, Todd, with his years of experience, guides Zoe on the nuances of using the hunting rifle. With a mix of anxiety and determination, Zoe takes a shot. The bullet finds its mark, but not fatally. The deer is wounded, but still alive. Faced with a moral dilemma, Todd tells Zoe they can either allow the deer to suffer slowly or end its pain swiftly. In an unexpected twist, before Todd can act, Zoe decisively ends the deer's life with a nearby rock. This abrupt action leaves Todd in shock. He soon connects the dots, realizing that the pain and aggression Zoe demonstrated might be an outlet for her unexpressed grief. She had recently lost her mother to cancer, a traumatic experience that has cast a shadow over her young life. The story then transitions to their home. As Zoe sits down for breakfast, she gets lost in her thoughts, believing she is conversing with her departed mother. This hallucination is Zoe's coping mechanism, a way for her to feel close to her mother. But when Todd notices this, Zoe, not wanting to reveal her vulnerability, tells him she's just distracted by some flies. Their dynamic is intricate. Zoe grapples with her grief, while Todd's protective and somewhat strict nature creates a palpable distance between them. Another day, as the morning sun shines, Zoe's close friend, Lewis, arrives to accompany her to school. Their journey, however, is disrupted by some notorious schoolmates in a speeding car. The distraction causes Lewis' vehicle to veer off its path. As they are trying to gather themselves, Zoe's attention is caught by a peculiar sight. A senior student from their school is up to something in the middle of a nearby field. Lewis, ever the voice of reason, clarifies that it's a day known for senior pranks at their school. Therefore, any unusual antics are merely part of the day's festivities. Upon reaching school, Zoe and Lewis went their separate ways to attend their classes. Post-lesson, Zoe was approached by her chemistry teacher, Jen. With a look of concern, Jen shared that she'd noticed a difference in Zoe since her mother passed away and hoped to offer some comfort. However, Zoe wasn't in the mood for such conversations and brushed it off. Afterward, as Zoe opened her locker, she discovered an invitation card from Lewis. It was an invite to a farewell party. The idea of attending the party wasn't particularly appealing to Zoe, but she feared disappointing Lewis by declining. While all this was happening inside the school, there was chaos brewing outside. The object that the senior student had placed in the field earlier suddenly detonated, causing panic. Simultaneously, another student named Kip discreetly left a mysterious bag near the school reception desk. Later in the school cafeteria, Zoe and Lewis reconvened. Lewis, noticing Zoe's expression, deduced she'd seen the invitation. He earnestly explained his reason for inviting her. He just wanted to support her and distract her from her grief. Zoe, already overwhelmed by everything, found his statement a tad presumptuous and, feeling frustrated, decided to take a quick break in the restroom. But the day's surprises weren't over. As she entered, Zoe witnessed another student, Anna, acting suspiciously, covering a section of the restroom ceiling. As Zoe made to exit, Anna forcefully nudged her, trying to deter her attention. Zoe's curiosity got the better of her, and she attempted to check what Anna was trying to hide. However, her quick inspection yielded no discoveries. Unbeknownst to her, there were imprints of a weapon concealed on the restroom ceiling. A typical school day took a dark turn when, without warning, a van crashed through the canteen's glass door. The sudden intrusion sent students into a frantic dash for safety. Chris, the same student Zoe had noticed in the field earlier that day, stepped out of the vehicle, brandishing a weapon. To the horror of the gathered students, he indiscriminately began to fire upon them. Moments later, Anna and Kip joined him, also wielding weapons, followed by another student, Tristan, emerging from the van. In a brutal show of power, the group mercilessly killed several students, a grisly act that ensured that the rest of the student body remained paralyzed with fear. In the restroom, Zoe was confronted with a chilling sight. An injured student stumbling in, bleeding profusely. Overwhelmed and helpless, Zoe could only watch as the injured student succumbed to her wounds. Back in the canteen, Tristan seized control, declaring to the terrified students that they were now hostages and must follow his every command. Spotting a fellow student who used to mock him, Tristan's rage seemed poised to bubble over. But before he could act, Chris swiftly and fatally shot the student. Disturbed by Chris's impulsivity, Tristan rebuked him, insisting that weapons should only be used with his permission. Amid the chaos, Zoe tried to stay out of sight near the restrooms. Her cover was almost blown when a student emerged from the men's room, drawing Kip's attention to the vicinity. In her heightened state of fear, Zoe hallucinated an apparition of her mother, who advised her to find a hiding spot. Trusting this vision, Zoe quickly ascended into the ceiling just in time, evading Kip's inspection of the restroom. From her vantage point above, she began to navigate the ceiling's crawl space, hoping to find an exit and escape the nightmare unfolding below. Outside the school, the situation was no less chaotic. First responders, which included the police, paramedics, and firefighters, were already on the scene, battling fires and investigating the explosion's origins. It became apparent that these were orchestrated distractions, a devious plan devised by Tristan and his group to divert attention from their main objective. Amid the terror in the cafeteria, Tristan decided to play a heart-wrenching game. He demanded a student call a loved one and explained the grim situation. The terrified girl called her mother, poured out her heart, and professed her love. In response, her mother, desperate to help, vowed to alert the authorities. When the call concluded, Tristan announced that the police were already in the loop and even gave the students an agonizing choice: make one last call before potentially meeting their end. The room was filled with the sounds of tearful goodbyes, with students reaching out to their families in their most vulnerable moments. Unbeknownst to the assailants, Zoe had taken refuge in the kitchen. But her safety was short-lived as the kitchen ceiling gave way, causing her to crash onto the floor. Alarmed by the noise, Tristan directed Chris to investigate. Panicking, Zoe sought another hiding spot and unexpectedly encountered a female chef who was also trying to keep out of sight. A ringing phone gave their position away, leading to a tragic confrontation with Chris. The chef tried to confront him, but it ended with her life being taken. With Chris gone, a traumatized Zoe tried to compose herself. Outside the kitchen, Tristan established contact with Mary, the school receptionist, proudly admitting his heinous actions in the cafeteria. Upon learning this, a horrified Mary informed the principal and other faculty members about the hostage situation. In her bid for safety, Zoe managed to exit the kitchen and stumble upon a group of unsuspecting students. She quickly briefed them about the dangerous scene inside the cafeteria, urging them to stay away. Back inside, Tristan, hungry for attention and recognition, directed his hostages to begin live streaming the ordeal. He wanted the entire world to bear witness. As the streams went live, Tristan demanded uninterrupted broadcasting, threatening more deaths if his demands weren't met. Just as he was about to further his grim agenda, the school's principal, accompanied by a security guard, entered the scene. Trying to de-escalate the situation, the principal mentioned past encounters with Tristan and even brandished the threat of expulsion in an attempt to regain control of the dire situation. The principal tried to reason with Tristan, attempting to shift the focus from the students to himself. He believed that by offering himself up, he might spare the innocent students. But Tristan remained unfazed, coldly ordering Chris to deal with the principal. The school's security attempted to intervene but was spared by Tristan's sudden change of heart. Instead, Tristan turned his attention to the live streams, eager to use the situation to gain more publicity. Lewis' stream, having garnered the most viewers, caught Tristan's eye. Designating Lewis as his primary cameraman, Tristan instructed the others to discard their phones, ensuring there would be only one narrative to follow. Outside the cafeteria, Zoe, still on edge from the earlier incident in the kitchen, moved from classroom to classroom, trying to inform students and faculty of the ongoing situation. Her mission became even more critical when a student displayed a live stream of the horrifying events. Aware that the message needed to be spread quickly, Zoe activated the fire alarm, hoping to evacuate the school. But Anna, one of Tristan's accomplices, was a step ahead. She made her way to the electrical room, overpowering a guard, and killed the power, thus silencing the alarm. The students, confused and unaware, were told to return to their classrooms. Elsewhere, Sheriff Magellan was en route to the school, but found himself hindered by the traffic caused by the multiple fires. After receiving an update on the situation at the school, he instructed his deputies to wait for his arrival before taking any action. Impatient and concerned about the gravity of the situation, some officers chose to ignore Magellan's orders, proceeding towards the school. Amid the chaos, Mary, the school receptionist, tried to regain some control. Relying on the testimony from the security guard who had survived the earlier confrontation, she made an announcement over the school's PE system. The school was officially on lockdown, and she urged everyone to remain in their classrooms, hoping this would offer some protection from the looming threat. The unattended bag under the reception desk, a ticking time bomb left behind by Kip, ultimately detonates, causing a significant explosion that impacts everyone in its vicinity, including Zoe. Simultaneously, inside the cafeteria, the broadcast of the calculated chaos unfolding brings a perverse sense of satisfaction to Tristan. He revels in the unfolding chaos yet yearns for more visibility, particularly desiring the live broadcast of their horrific acts to be showcased in real time on the news. Sheriff Magellan, finally arriving at the school, is met with the devastating aftermath of the explosion and discovers the lifeless bodies of his officers. Inside, Zoe, despite being amidst the explosion, miraculously regains consciousness, and an illusionary interaction with her deceased mother takes place. Her mother provides comfort, suggesting that those who perished quickly in the explosion did not suffer, contrasting it with her own entanglement in the living world, anchored by Zoe's inability to let her go. This moment of ethereal connection is abruptly interrupted when Anna enters the scene. Zoe instinctively feigns death, even as Anna steps on her to confirm it, enduring the pain silently. Concurrently, Tristan, still orchestrating the chaotic live stream in the cafeteria, showcases a video recorded by Anna, which reveals Zoe's seemingly lifeless body. Lewis, witnessing this, is stunned into silence, presumably believing his friend Zoe to be dead. A new development arises when Kip informs Tristan that one of the TV channels has ceased broadcasting their live stream, deeming the graphically violent content inappropriate for public viewership. Rather than being deterred, Tristan's fervor intensifies. He delegates responsibilities among his accomplices. Chris is tasked with managing the hostages, while he, Kip, and Lewis are to scour the school in search of other students. With each passing moment, the harrowing events within the school compound further. Zoe's resilience and determination become even more evident. Despite being shot in the leg, she manages to confront Anna, and, using the element of surprise offered by a room filled with balloons, comes out triumphant. This scene shows the depths of Zoe's willpower and her commitment to fighting against the aggressors. In another part of the school, Tristan's sadistic nature continues to manifest. By coercing Rose into such a demeaning act in front of her students and thousands of viewers, he reinforces his reign of terror. This scene, disturbing in nature, serves to highlight the depths of Tristan's cruelty and the power dynamics at play. Rose's decision, driven by her commitment to protect her students at any cost, paints a poignant picture of the lengths an individual can go to when pushed to their limits. The discovery at Tristan's house adds another layer of complexity to the narrative. The tragic scene, his mother lying lifeless, facing a TV that broadcasts her son's atrocious deeds, offers an unsettling juxtaposition. The poignant visual metaphor serves to amplify the story's commentary on the effects of personal trauma, societal pressure, and the ripple effect of violent actions. The implication that she might have taken her own life adds a chilling touch to an already distressing story. In the meantime, Todd found out about some disturbing events happening at the school, so he made his way there quickly. Meanwhile, in the school's cafeteria, Chris was displaying odd behavior. He seemed to be talking to himself, seemingly influenced by internal voices that urged him to engage in dangerous acts. These mysterious voices had even convinced him to confront the police. Observing this, Tristan decided to gather all the students, including Rose, into the cafeteria. This was surprising, since he had previously made a different promise to Rose, causing fear and confusion among the students. Zoe, witnessing the unfolding chaos, found a spot to hide. Her plan almost failed when Kip spotted her. She narrowly escaped, with Kip on her heels. During the pursuit, Kip was taken aback upon discovering his friend Anna in a wounded state. Seizing the opportunity, Zoe managed to subdue Kip using a fire extinguisher. She then restrained him to ensure he couldn't cause more harm. In a twist, Zoe began having vivid visions of her mother. Through these visions, her mother seemed to communicate insights about Zoe's internal struggles. However, these were interrupted when Kip regained consciousness. Noticing Zoe's peculiar behavior, he deduced that she, like him and his friends, was influenced by internal voices. Kip then confided in Zoe about a painful memory, where he was humiliated by fellow students, leading to him being the subject of ridicule. Zoe tried to comfort him by suggesting that perhaps people weren't mocking him, but rather expressing joy. Regardless, she believed his actions of revenge were disproportionate, as many innocent individuals had suffered in the process. Kip seemed to reconsider his actions after hearing Zoe's perspective, suggesting he was having second thoughts about what he had done. Outside the school, a crowd of worried parents formed, searching for updates on their children. Among them was Todd, who was approached by a woman showing a live broadcast spearheaded by Tristan. In another part of the school, Zoe, now armed with Kip's weapon, bumped into Jen, who was leading a group of students to safety. Initially, Jen mistook Zoe for one of the attackers due to the weapon she was holding. However, Zoe quickly clarified her intentions and began assisting Jen in evacuating the students. Zoe then reached out to a colleague who connected her call to Sheriff Majlin. In an effort to aid the evacuation, Zoe informed Majlin about the situation inside. Majlin devised a plan to divert Tristan's attention by putting him in the spotlight of the journalists' cameras. While he engaged Tristan in conversation over the phone, he hoped it would provide enough time for the students to escape without Tristan noticing. As Majlin handled Tristan, Zoe was determined to stay and assist any remaining trapped students. Jen, seeing Zoe's determination, decided to accompany her. However, their plan hit a snag when a TV station interviewed a student who mentioned being helped to escape. This unintentional reveal made Tristan suspicious, making him realize he had been played by Majlin. Outside the school, a student who had managed to get out told Todd that his daughter Zoe had been instrumental in helping students escape, but she had chosen to stay behind to help others. This news deeply worried Todd. Inside, Tristan grew more impatient and tried reaching out to Anna and Kip. Getting no answer because Zoe had taken their phones, his temper flared. He threatened to start hurting students if he didn't get what he wanted. Zoe, trying to manage the situation, answered the call and informed Tristan she had taken down Anna and detained Kip. This revelation made Lewis very happy, but Tristan was adamant about seeing Zoe in person. He put forth a chilling ultimatum. Zoe had to appear in the canteen, or he would harm a student every 5 minutes. To show he was serious, he took the life of a female student right away. Todd, having overheard this and witnessed the act, became more determined to intervene. Grabbing his hunting rifle, he resolved to step in and support his daughter. Zoe, meanwhile, went back to Kip, who was consumed with remorse over his actions. She tried to convince him to change his ways and suggested he could still be remembered as someone who did the right thing in the end. Trusting him, she gave him back his weapon, and they both headed for the canteen. When Zoe walked into the room, Tristan was taken aback. He had always seen Zoe as the quiet type and hadn't expected her to stand up to him like this. Meanwhile, Chris was really agitated, especially since he believed Zoe was responsible for harming his younger sister, Anna. Tristan tried to keep Chris under control, but tensions escalated. Just then, Kip walked in, gun ready, demanding an end to the violence. Chris, in a rage, began shooting wildly, injuring Tristan but unfortunately taking Kip's life. Although tragic, Kip's last stand felt like a small redemption for his previous mistakes. Realizing Zoe and Lewis had slipped away in the chaos, Tristan sent Chris after them. As they ran, Zoe noticed Lewis was injured. She tried to get him to a safer place, settling on the teacher's office and promising him they would go to a party together later, trying to keep his spirits up. To draw Chris away from Lewis, Zoe ran into the school's chemistry lab. She turned on several gas cylinders, setting a trap. When Chris followed her in, she ignited the gas, causing a massive explosion. The resulting blaze caught Todd's attention from a distance. As Chris, injured but still determined, was about to fire at Zoe, Todd acted just in time, shooting Chris and preventing further harm to his daughter. Zoe peered out a window and saw her dad had come to her rescue. However, Todd was quickly detained by police officers who hadn't yet intervened in the situation. When Zoe's phone buzzed with a call from Tristan, she sent back a chilling picture of Chris, now lifeless. This sent Tristan into a fit of rage, seeing his entire scheme crumble around him. Looking to regain some control, Tristan made a defiant declaration over the school's live broadcast. He tried to make it seem as if he would be the memorable one from this incident. However, Zoe countered, saying that when this was all over, people would remember her actions and not his. Furious and feeling cornered, Tristan hastily set off towards a vehicle with a ticking bomb inside, grabbing a random student along the way. Inside the cafeteria, Zoe found the van, and the timer on the bomb displayed a harrowing 40 seconds. She shouted for everyone to get out as fast as they could. But not all students could move quickly due to injuries. In a brave move, Zoe managed to drive the van outside the cafeteria, where it exploded, thankfully without injuring anyone. The explosion finally spurred the police into action. They stormed into the school and, upon finding Zoe, mistakenly detained her. Amidst the chaos, another explosion rang out. When the smoke cleared, they discovered a charred body wearing clothes similar to Tristan's, leading them to believe that Tristan had met his end. Zoe's mom reappeared, offering a heartfelt farewell to her daughter. Moments later, Zoe found herself handcuffed in a police vehicle. Just when things seemed bleak, Magdalene approached and set her free. He expressed his apologies for the SWAT team's haste in apprehending her, acknowledging that they didn't recognize her sacrifices. Magdalene also shared the somber news that Tristan had been consumed entirely by the fire. Later, Zoe saw her dad, Todd, in the back of a police car, handcuffs glinting in the sunlight. He gazed at her with eyes filled with pride, clearly moved by her bravery throughout the ordeal. Nearby, paramedics were attending to Lewis, ensuring he received the medical attention he needed. Yet, amidst the commotion, Zoe's attention was drawn to a student who looked out of place, slinking away from the scene. Acting on instinct, she retrieved her dad's rifle that was stashed behind the school and cautiously began to trail the mysterious student. To Zoe's astonishment, the student she followed was Tristan. Her fingers tightly gripping the rifle, she took a shot, wounding him. Approaching the fallen Tristan, she found him alive yet immobilized by the pain of his injury. Zoe, haunted yet stern, decided against ending his life quickly as she had done with a deer earlier in the film. She believed Tristan didn't deserve a swift exit and chose to leave him to face a slow, agonizing demise. After ensuring Tristan was incapacitated, Zoe updated Magdalene on the situation. With the truth unveiled and justice served, the film reached its conclusion. The moral of the story is, when in doubt, always consult the ghostly mom before confronting your nemesis.